Unfortunately, the AI automation agency model is just too saturated and too competitive. 2025 is probably kind of too late to start your AI agency. I mean, a lot of businesses already have AI agents or automation at some level or another. And on top of that, all the tools, all the AI tools that we use to develop automations, they're almost becoming too easy and too simple to figure out. So why do businesses even need us? Why do they need AI agencies to build agents for them when they can just do it themselves? This is what some people say, but is it true? Well, over the past 12 months, I've been running my own AI automation agency almost to the date now. It's been about a year. And in this video, I'm going to be sharing with you my honest thoughts and my personal experience when it comes to running my agency and scaling my agency. I've worked with over 50 high-ticket B2B clients at this point. I've made a decent amount of money with it. I build all sorts of agents and automations for them for any use case that you can think of across a variety of different niches. And in today's video, I'm going to be touching on some of the positives as well as the negatives of the AI automation agency model that you just don't hear a lot of people talk about. Because if you're a beginner and you want to get into the space, you've been following maybe the AI automation industry for a few months now or maybe a few weeks, I think this information is definitely going to shine some light. It's going to help you open your eyes a little bit and help you stop being blinded by all the hype that exists out there. Okay, so I'm going to start with my negative observations first. I think it just makes more sense. The first one, which is going to make a lot of people go crazy, is that no code automation and no code AI agents are mostly hype. What? Yes, I know, mind blowing, right? What do I mean by that? Well, all these simple semi-functional agents that you see in YouTube videos that don't require any code are good if you want to get some views, maybe some clicks, maybe get some people to join your school community. Sure, they're great. I've done them myself. But most of the real world business projects that we work on, if I recall like the past 6 months, I would say every single project we've worked on did require even a little bit of code at some point. You have to go over that intimidation you have whenever you see that code node inside N8N or all these low code platforms, because if you're actually gonna make some money with this business, you're gonna need to code a little bit. Now, does this mean you need to learn how to code? No, I don't know how to code. I probably will never learn how to code. I don't want to learn how to code. My developer doesn't know how to code. We just became really good at using LLMs, maybe ChatGPT, in order to help us come up with lines of code every time we need them. Now, you might be wondering, why use code? LLMs are so perfect. Why not just use LLMs instead of code and agents and all that? Well, as great as LLMs are, guys, they do have limitations. First of all, they're infinitely more expensive than code because code is free. Second of all, they are unreliable at times, and that's actually my second negative observation that I'm going to get into. And in general, LLMs are great for some things, but code is just better at other things. And I guess this is the perfect segue into my second point, which is AI agents and automations are more unreliable than you would actually think. They're more unreliable than you would want them to be and you would expect them to be. But that's just the reality of the situation, guys. If you build an agent that is supposed to do X thing, if you run it 100 times, maybe it's only going to work 95% of the times. Even if you try everything in your power and you do all the testing and you test all the edge cases and you iterate and you fix it, it's still going to make mistakes. So this is something that you should understand. You should send a proper expectation with your client, and they should know that they're never getting like a final product. Once you deliver something to them, there's still going to be involvement from your end, and you're still going to need to support them, keep their stuff updated and all that. And also expect to get DMs at like 2 a.m. in the morning from clients saying that, hey, this system that you built me doesn't work, and I started it 3 hours ago and it's still running. So this is something that is normal. they're just going to run into problems and you're going to have to be responsible for fixing them. That's just the way it is, you know. The third negative observation I made is that advancement of AI technology is happening much faster than adoption. I'm not exactly sure if this is normal, if this is how all technologies work, or if this is just something I'm able to see because I'm almost at the forefront of this revolution that is taking place. But, you know, to say the least, things are moving much quicker. They're evolving much quicker than businesses are adopting them. And I guess the way I combat that is I distance myself from all the AI news material and all that. I no longer go over it. I no longer read it or watch videos on it, because most of it is just, you know, hype, and most of it is like basic stuff overinflated into something that's supposed to be this new cool thing, but it's actually like 3-year-old technology. There is some stuff that is new, and you know, it's coming out more often than you would think, by the way, and it's coming out. But again, you know, it doesn't really matter. What matters is you learn the fundamentals and the basics really well, to the point where, you know, no matter what direction AI agents and automation evolves into, you can actually like stay on top of things. And my personal prediction is that we're going to see all these, you know, companies that do provide those large language models we use, OpenAI, Anthropic, you know, Meta, and they are going to integrate agentic capabilities directly into their LLM. So now you're going to be able to, you know, just pull up your ChatGPT and ask it to do something. It's going to be able to do it without you needing to set up the backend infrastructure and all the, you know, the data transformation, the data management that we now do inside a platform like N8N. And the cool thing about that is that it's just going to make adoption accelerate at a much faster rate. It's also going to make AI agents more appealing to the mass market, because right now, you know, only businesses are actually using AI agents. You know, normal people, they might be using ChatGPT, but it's more information oriented. They're not getting any action oriented, you know, AI capability from it. Point number 4 is, if you know how to build what you're selling and sell what you're building, so essentially you're very well versed both on the technical side of the business model and also on the business side, the sales side, and the marketing, you're in a much better position than 99.9% of people. Because most people I see, they're either like, you know, a 10 out of 10 in tech or a 10 out of 10 in sales, and they completely suck at the other part. Now, a way I counter that for you guys, I came up with a new offer called the AI Agency Partner System, where you partner up with me and my team and my agency. We build your entire agency completely for you, so you don't have to do anything. All you have to do is just get on sales calls with people, close them, and we even build the systems for your clients. We develop their agents and their automation. And regarding your sales calls, we even give you like proven scripts and SOPs to follow, so you can get a predictable like 20-25% closing rate, because you use our own tried and tested sales process. I'm so confident in my AI agency partner system that I'm also giving out a guarantee. If you're not able to sign 5 high-ticket AI clients over the next 12 months, which, by the way, just between us, you're probably going to sign a lot more. I just wanted to, you know, give you a guarantee. I'm going to give all of your money back. So if you're interested in signing your first 5 or next 5 high-ticket AI clients, check out the first link in the description. Now, let's go back to the video. Point number 5, and this is also going to hit hard, is a little provocative, is that, you know, productized AI agents are a myth. You know, there's this myth going out there that you can build an AI agent and sell it infinite times to infinite businesses, you know, without needing to do any additional work. And it does have some premise to it, maybe 10%. But the reality is that if you're going to be automating an existing SOP for a business, if the agent that you're selling is supposed to go ahead and automate a process that a business already has in place and not introduce a new one, then, you know, how do you deal with the fact that every business has a different SOP for the same thing? Might be very similar, but it's just different the way they're doing it. So, you know, productized AI models and, you know, AI agencies exist out there. I haven't seen too many of them who are successful, to be honest with you. My agency sells customized AI agent solutions, and so do all the people that I've worked with that I've helped make a lot of money with their agency. They all sell customized solutions. So I'm not sure where people get this idea of, I'm going to build my AI SaaS. It kind of work. It's just, way more work, and it's less likely. You're actually much better off starting an agency that sells custom AI solutions tailored to specific needs of each client rather than building a product and trying to have mass market appeal. Number 6, before we go to the actual positive observations I've made, I hope I didn't get you depressed, is that the market doesn't quite get AI agents yet. They just don't get them. They don't understand what they are. They don't even know they exist. Most businesses are just stuck into the ChatGPT era, and they're using it a little bit. I don't even know why all these studies say that AI agents and whatever percentage of businesses, usually a larger percentage than it is, uses AI agents, and these are the benefits they get from it. Guys, if you just launch any cold outreach campaign today and you start getting on calls with people, you're gonna realize they have no idea what AI agents are and how they work. And the result of this is that you end up having very long sales cycles with people, because you need to educate them before they can actually buy from you. They don't understand what it is. How can you expect them to pay you money for it? So yeah, these are some of the negatives. I guess they're not deal breakers. Now let's get into the positives. So the first positive, and I guess this is a massive win for the AI agency model and also for you guys watching this, is that we are still in the very early days of the whole AI agency / selling AI agents to businesses. This market is still very new. It's not competitive. It's not saturated, contrary to what you might have been led to believe by different YouTube gurus. This is a very new space, guys. It's still emerging. It's like a newborn baby that is still trying to figure out, how to walk and all that. And if you compare it with all the other online business models, I won't even mention like the scammy ones. Let's just say SMA, dropshipping, Amazon FBA, like the more serious businesses that you can start on the internet. And you also compare the AI agency model with its future prospects and its obvious potential, because just between me and you guys, I do see a world where every single business on the face of this planet within the next 10 to 20 years is going to be run, at least by the majority, with AI agents. And you're gonna have a very hard time convincing me otherwise. So no matter how you see it, this is very early on. You still have time to get into it. Just do yourself a favor and don't postpone it and postpone it and postpone it, because you're never gonna feel 100% ready. Things are never going to be perfect, and now it's the best time to get into it. The best time was like 2 years ago, 3 years ago, when Liam Otley and all these guys were getting into it. The second best time is right now at this moment. So that's the first positive. The second positive is that the AI agency model has an extremely high customer lifetime value and also a very high retention of clients. And I'm going to explain to you those the reasons behind those two very high metrics. As far as the customer lifetime value goes, it is simply because a business pays you to develop essentially an AI-powered software for them. And then that software, they don't know how to, update themselves. They don't know how to upgrade themselves. They don't know how to maintain themselves. So you end up finding yourself in this situation where they just keep coming back to you because you build it, you know how it works. And then, at the end of the day, you just automated one SOP or one process for them. They have countless other processes that they want to automate. So it just makes for a business model that has a really good upsell rate, and a $2,000 client might turn into a $20,000 client in no time, not considering any of the referrals that you can get from people. And as far as the retention goes, it's the same reason. You get a company to work with you, they have to trust you with so much. You need access to their software, you need their APIs, their backend, all that. Now they trust you. They're gonna stay with you unless you totally mess it up, which I hope you won't. But unless you totally mess it up and they lose all your trust, then they're just going to stick with you for a very long time. The third positive of this model I kind of briefly touched on before is that every businesses will need AI agents and automation. This is kind of obvious. I don't want to make a point of this. Every business will need AI agents and automation. In fact, there's going to come a time where people are going to be using AI agents and automation, like regular people, not even businesses. Of course, businesses will use it, but I'm talking about regular people now. By the way, you can see my Coke here. Cheers. Refreshing. Number 4 is that it has a very high barrier of entry, and usually that will be perceived as a bad thing, but I think it's a good thing. If you take a look at what happened with the SMMA space, the social media marketing agency, which is kind of my background, that's where I come from. I started a sales agency back in the day, which eventually it evolved into this agency that I run today, the AI automation agency. That's a different story. But what happened with that business model was essentially a bunch of 17-year-olds who had no idea what they were doing. And by the way, I don't make any judgments. I'm very young myself. It's just that most 17-year-olds are not like me when I was 17-year-old. I think so. Maybe I'm just dumb. I don't know. But, they get into the space and they overpromise, they underdeliver, they do it on a mass scale, they do it repeatedly, and then the entire reputation of the business model gets ruined. So the AI agency model is different in that sense because it has a higher barrier of entry. You do need to be very well versed in either the technical or the sales side or both in order to be successful with it. So it tends to keep away all the people who want to get rich quick, and all these people that they're not the type of person that tends to succeed with these online ventures. Let's put it this way. So the high barrier of entry that the AA model has, it almost acts like a moat that protects the business from parasitic outsiders who just want to milk the positives of the business and in return ruin the reputation of the entire industry. Point number 5 is that it is a very high leveraged model, especially if you're doing what I'm doing to get clients, which is making YouTube content and putting out videos. You can use a hell of a lot of leverage in your AI agency because you're using code, you're using AI that can work and write code itself, you're using content where you can market one to many. So it is a very high leveraged business model. And the last thing I'm going to say is that it is easy to build authority when nobody knows what they talk about. So if you're an early mover into this space and maybe you're just getting into it right now, 6 months from now, you'll be considered like an absolute G, a total expert, because everybody else doesn't know how these things work, and it's cool, and it's a new thing. So now you're the expert, and it happened to me many times, guys. Even at the gym that I go to, people think I'm the AI expert, which I guess in a sense I am the AI expert. I know a whole lot more than most people, like 99.99%. But still, I'm not at the top of the food chain. You could argue that, okay, so what? You're still an expert. But in any case, it is easier to be an expert in emerging industries than it is to be an expert in industries that they've been around for a long time. And this just boosts your credibility in sales and all that. Anyways, as I said before, if you want help signing your first 5 or your next 5 high-ticket AI clients for your agency, check out the first link in the description. If you enjoyed this video, drop me a like, subscribe to the channel, share this because it helps with the algorithm. And yeah, I'll see you in the next one.